Hi everybody, it's Amanda again from TimeTravelHypnosis.com. I was just thinking this morning when I was watching a YouTube video from N5D.com or listening to one. Um, there was like you know how they convert to audio like an article. Well, there was an article by someone called Victoria Trinity, and she was talking about the event and Ascension. And of course, anything having to do with the event or Ascension is fascinating to me. So I try to just read or listen to anything I can find about it. So anyway, so I was listening to her story about the dream she had, and um, I think one part of it triggered a memory for me. She had said at one point she remembers. I remember she said she was looking at something, but basically the idea was like I made it, like we did it, we made it, and that triggered a memory for me because I think back in 2012, I went to an event where they were doing a guided meditation, and so I think in this meditation he took us into the future, and I can't remember if it was 5 years or 10 years or 1 year. I can't remember now, but I do remember um, when I got to this future place, I was standing up on a mountain and I was looking out over like a forest. It was just completely green everywhere, trees, just like you couldn't see anything but the tops of the trees. And I remember also standing up at the top and looking down and thinking, we did it, we made it. And I had no frame of reference because that there wasn't anything I was trying to do or any place I was trying to make it to at that time, so it didn't make any sense. But when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if that's what I was seeing in the future when I went to the future and I was seeing this. And I live on the Ozark Mountains, so I mean, it's not unusual to see green trees everywhere, but um, it was just interesting that I had that correlation. Um, and then there was another thing that I was listening to. I listened to a lot of YouTube videos. Um, Unbiased and On the Fence YouTube channel is great. I just discovered his channel and it's really interesting, and I love listening to all his interviews and stuff. But there was a guy called Scott on there, and he was talking about his experiences with the event and the Ascension and all that, and um, talking about what it would be like, um, after this event happens or after Ascension happens or whatever. What will it be like here? And I think he was talking about how there's just like so much love that people just set down their things and they're just looking around like, oh my gosh, I just love everybody, and like what, like trying to, like, do you want my car? Do you want this? Like they don't know what to do with that much love. And I thought that was funny. But it reminded me of a meditation that I did where I was asking, like my intention in the meditation was to find out, like, what is it going to be like after this happens, like in daily life, like in my life. At that time I was taking my kids to school every day. So I was thinking, like, what's it going to be like in the drop-off line at school? Like after this happens, what's that going to be like? And so what I saw was, you're taking your kids to school and this thing happens and everybody's just kind of like looking around at each other and crying and hugging each other because they don't, like, it is so much love. You don't know what else are you going to do with it? Like everyday stuff is not going to seem that important. So if you're standing at the car drop-off line at school and you suddenly feel this wave of love, what are you going to, you're just like gonna hug the nearest person to you, and it's just gonna be so great. Okay, and then the other thing that I was thinking about is that I have kind of shared a little about this. I did another meditation later. The first meditation that not the guided one that I had where I thought, like we made it, we did it. But the one that I did for myself, that I just talked about, that was a couple years ago, or maybe last year. I think maybe it was a couple years ago because everybody was talking about, oh, it's gonna happen in April and it's gonna be on this certain day, and and that day came and went, and I was like, nothing happened. But And still, stuff, it may not happen. I don't know, but it's fun to think about. Anyway, it's fun to imagine. Because if we have to imagine our own, if we can imagine our own reality, if we create our own reality, then shouldn't we be imagining like the best possible thing we could ever think of to happen? That's my thought. Anyway, so later on, pretty recently, I guess a year ago or something, I just thought, I don't want to. The last meditation where I said, I want to see what it looks like, and I saw what other people were doing. This time I said, I want to know what it feels like. So show me what it feels like after this thing happens, or after this, like, what does ascension feel like? Excuse me. Um, so anyway, so I did, so I went into meditation and I sat um, and I said, I want to know what this will feel like. And it was a split second of all these things I'm about to describe happening. So all of a sudden I feel like I was being taken up into one of those really scary amusement park rides where they take you really like they take you like just straight up in this thing. And then like once you get up there and you're sitting there getting scared enough, then they just drop you straight down. And I hate that. I hate the feeling of falling. I hate it even being in an airplane when you hit like an air pocket and the plane drops a little. I just want to like grab the arms of the thing. Anyway, so there's this feeling of being taken up in this thing, and I'm just like, oh, this is what it feels like because I don't like this so far. And they're like, do you really want to know what it feels like? Whoever, the consciousnesses I'm communicating with, whatever, in meditation. And so, I'm like, is it gonna hurt? Because this doesn't feel good. And they're like, no, it's not gonna hurt at all. And so I said, okay. And all that communication happened like boom, like that. And then as soon as I even thought, okay, the bottom fell out of this ride that I was at the top of, right? But instead of me falling, all of anything remotely negative, bad feeling, like the whole negative polarity just fell out of me and it was gone. And it was like I was up above it. It was like there's a line above the earth of this where the negative can be. And I got brought up, but it was still in me, and then it dropped out of me. And I and I've heard other people say this, I don't even have words to describe what that felt like. Because it's not just that you feel really amazing, it's that there's not even, there's not the bad to compare it to know how good you're feeling, that sounds like the opposite of what I'm trying to describe. It was so unbelievably blissful. Like all the words I can think to use have other connotations that don't fit with it. Like I'd say, like it's a religious ecstasy kind of feeling, but even ecstasy has like sexual connotations and drug connotations. And like, if you take only the good from that word, that and bliss and, just like the happiest you've ever been times a million, like literally a million. Um, and so I was sitting there with this feeling, and I suddenly realized that I had tears running down my face and I was laughing at the same time. Like it was so incredible. You laugh and cry at the same time. There was no negative at all. There's not even like, you know how we have a tendency to like, if something's going well, then we're like, oh, this feels so much better than this garbage that I was experiencing yesterday or an hour ago or whatever. There wasn't even garbage to compare it to. Like everything was just gone that was bad or negative or remotely negative polarity. It was really incredible. So if that's what it is, I don't even know what to think about that. That is just like, I I mean, I can imagine going around in that state all the time, and I wonder if that's what, people who transition from this life to whatever's after, whatever's next, or whatever space you're in when you're not here doing Earth. I mean, if that's what it's like, wow. I wish we could remember that. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that because I don't. I have heard people say that it's just so amazing that there aren't words for it, and that's accurate because something that makes you laugh and cry at the same time. Although it wasn't overwhelming, like it wasn't like I can't handle this amount of joy. It was just like, thank God, thank goodness, like, oh, finally, all, but then you don't even think about the negative, so it's hard to explain. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because it was, they've all been interesting experiences, and I had forgotten about the one where I was standing above everything thinking, oh, we made it, we did it. When I didn't have any idea what I was thinking. We did it. Like, I didn't even have a frame of reference. I didn't even know about the event at that time. So, and I don't know if that was 5 years or 10 years. If it was 5 years, it could be coming up any minute. I don't know. Anyway, so it's fun to think about. And like I said, if we create our own reality, or if we can create a better current life by being more positive and imagining what we would like to have, then wouldn't it be great if we all just started imagining the best possible thing we can comprehend to think of to raise us all up to that level, or to any better level than what we're at would be a step in the right direction. Anyway, I just want to share that. Feel free to comment or contact me or whatever. TimeTravelHypnosis.com. I've got some new things coming up. Hoping to start them next week. So keep your eye here, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.